Hey, hi. Hello everyone. I'm Naval Yamul. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Data Master. And I welcome you all for the new playlist on Databricks Generative AI. So in this video, we are going to explore on the basics of generative AI. We're going to see what is generative AI, what is large language models, is LLMs, and then we are going to talk about the differences between the open source LLMs and the closed source LLMs. So this video will be for the very basic on, we are going to look at the theory part on generative AI and some examples of the LLM. But from the next video, we are going to talk about working on the LLMs with the Databricks or Databricks with generative AI hands-on will be there. Now, let us start with an AI. So AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and act like a human. So it's a branch of computer science that is programmed to think and act like a humans. And if you look at the ML, that is machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of AI, and machine learning focuses on algorithms that enables computer to learn from the previous data and then make decisions without explicitly programmed. So we are already using machine learning in our day-to-day life. So you take any example like social media, or maybe if you're using music applications, or maybe video streaming applications like your Amazon Prime or Netflix. You go anywhere, you are recommended the videos, or you are recommended the movies, or you are recommended the feeds on your Instagram which you personally like, which is where your interest lies. So we have whatever the videos you have watched before, or whatever videos you have liked and comment. So depending on the previous data, your algorithm is designed and it is making a decision to recommend you the best one. So that are the examples of the machine learning. We're not going deep into those all things. We'll be focusing on the generative AI. Now let us proceed further to the deep learning. So deep learning is this subset of the machine learning, and deep learning uses a neural networks. So in simple words, it's like our brain, how our brain is attached like a neural networks with many layers. So in the same way, deep learning uses a neural network with many layers to analyze the complex patterns in the data. That is deep learning. And finally, we have generative AI. So in simple words, generative AI is nothing but that helps you to generate the content, a new content. It can be a text, generating a new text. It can be generating your images, your audio files, or any other media. So if you look at the examples, your generative AI can create text by using a models like GPT-3, GPT 3.5, or GPT-4. There are other models also. Your generative AI can also generate an image by using a model called DALL-E. We just write a prompt, like we give a text, from text an image can be generated. So in simple words, generative AI is nothing but that helps you to generate a new content. Now, why we are talking about generative AI, why it is so much popular in these years? So let me tell you the reason. So I have got the statistics here. So pulling out the stats, if you look at the ChatGPT, it was launched in November 2022. And if you look at the other launches like online services, that took like many years and months to reach 1 million users. So if you look at the example of Netflix, it took 3.5 years to reach 1 million users. And if you look at the example of Instagram, that took 2.5 months to reach 1 million users. But when ChatGPT was launched, it took only 5 days to reach to 1 million users. So it was a revolutionary product for the entire industry, for all the industries. So that's the reason why people are talking about the generative AI. People are talking about the ChatGPT. So what is ChatGPT? We are going to discuss in detail. But generative AI helps you to create a new content. It can be in the form of text, it can be in the form of videos, or it can be in the any other media. So this was a short intro on the generative AI. let us proceed further and talk about LLMs. So LLMs are nothing but large language models. So it's again depending on, or it's trained on the massive data set using the deep learning techniques, particularly neural networks. I explained you about the deep learning that can help you to connect like a neural network. So in the same way, your LLMs are trained on the massive amount of data. Let me tell you one simple statistics which I have read. So a human being can read up to 750 books in their lifetime. 750 books in their lifetime. Just imagine, it's an average. Okay, I'm talking about an average. But when you're talking about a model that is a LLM model, for example, large language model that is trained on millions of books. Imagine millions of books. It is trained on many websites, open source websites, or any other online resources. So just to make that model more knowledgeable, more knowledgeable. So your LLMs are like your large language models that are trained on massive data set, and they are capable of understanding, then generating a human like text. So our example is on the ChatGPT. Ask any questions in the form of text, it will try to respond you in the form of text again. It can be a image, so even you can create or generate an images also, but we'll stick towards the text. That is large language model. So we are not going detail into LLMs again, talking about the GPTs, what is generative pre-trained transformers, how the transformers are designed, and so on. So maybe I'll talk about those in the next videos. It will be completely theory part. We will discuss about those GPTs, what is transformers, and how your LLMs are getting trained, and so on. We will be discussing it in the next videos. But in simple words, LLMs are nothing but a model that is being trained on a massive data and open source data. I'll bold this, I'll mark this as an open source data. Okay. So moving further, we have open source models and we have a closed source model. It is also called as a proprietary models. So let us first focus on the closed source model, the ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like it's like a website or an application. Behind the scene, we have a GPT model. Now, at the time of recording, the latest version of the GPT is 4.0. It was 3.5, but now we are using GPT 4.0. That is a model, and the interface what we are using is a ChatGPT. There are many other models that are proprietary, or in simple words, we are we are paying for that. It's a closed source. Or there is an other model called Claude from the Anthropic that is also a closed source model. And even Google has a closed model, or you can say a proprietary model called Gemini. So these are the few examples of the proprietary. There are many others, but I have just pick up the most familiar one. And talking about the open source models, yeah, so all thanks to this big tech giant companies who are creating a open source, they are creating a models and they are just making it as open source so that many developers can try contributing it to these models, making the model fine-tuned for the specific use cases and so on. So all thanks to them. So first I'll talk about Databricks. Yeah, Databricks have built their model called DBRX, and it's an open source. It's an open source model. And then Meta has introduced a model called Llama model. So it's an open source. Now again, at the time of recording, we have Llama 3.2 version with different parameters like 70 billion parameters, 405 billion parameters. What are these? I'll be talking about those when we start working on the Databricks AI playground. I'll be showing about that. Then there's a Mistral AI. It's an open source model, and even Google has an open source model called Gemma. So these are open source models, and these are proprietary, or you can simply call it as a closed source models. So let us proceed further and talk about the LLMs for a specific use cases. For example, if you want to generate a text, so you are writing a question or you are writing a prompt. So we will see what is prompt engineering and the techniques of prompt engineering. But now let us keep it simple. I hope everyone knows what is prompt. You might be using a ChatGPT or any other AI tools where you will just write a prompt. It's like a question, like a query. You write something in the form of text and your model generates in the form of text. So the models can be your GPT-3, GPT-4, your DBRX, your Llama. Let me write it here. It can be your Llama models or open source Llama, or it can be your Gemini model, or it can be your any Copilot, Microsoft Copilot that helps you to generate the text. But apart from that, there are many other specific use cases, or you can simply say as a LLMs that are tailored for the specific use case. For example, code generation. Suppose if you want to generate a code, when I try to write something in the form of text, a natural language, and your model tries to generate a code. Yes, we have a models like Code Llama, again from the Metas, it's an open source. Then we have a Codex from the OpenAI, and from Microsoft we have GitHub Copilot. Again, it was derived from the Codex only. These models helps you to generate the code. Then we have a next image generation, getting very popular nowadays. If you just write in the form of text like a prompt and your model tries to generate an image out of it. So if you are writing any prompt like I want a giraffe who's sitting on the bicycle riding a bike, anything, it can try to generate an image on the prompt what user has given. So the popular models are DALL-E and Stable Diffusion. So there are many models. We will be talking about Hugging Face. I'll be showing you different models and so on. But these are popular, or which I have come across. So I've just written it. There are many other models also. Then talking about the next specific use case on audio generation. So you just write a text and your model tries to generate audio. And now even your GPT model tries to do that. I mean, you just try to talk to your model and even your GPT model responds you or generates an audio responses. There is a Whisper model. There is a 11 Labs. These models tries to generate an audio. Then we have a video generation. So recently ChatGPT or OpenAI has launched a model called Sora that helps you to generate an video from the text. You're just writing a text as a prompt and then your model tries to generate a video. And there is a Runway ML and so on. Then if you have a very specific use case like building up a chatbot, where we will be working on creating a chatbot, looking at a RAG implementation using a Databricks. Conversational agents, yeah, we have different models like ChatGPT is there, DBRX is there, Llama is there, that helps you to create a chatbots. So these are the LLMs for the specific use cases. Now let me talk about the Hugging Face. So you can just type Hugging Face. Cool. So it's an AI community builder where you will find all the models, your spaces, your data sets at one place. So you can see it's an AI community building for the future. Let me click on the models. Yeah, you can see on the left side there are so many different specific use case models. So on a regular basis there are so many models that are getting generated. So you can see there are multi models, computer vision, in that very specific, you can see text to image, even it can generate image to image, and you have a video classification, text to video models. For natural language we have text generation, we have summarization. If you are bringing large text of data and you want to summarize that, you can classify it and so on. You can see audio models that can convert from text to speech or text to audios and so on. There are so many other use cases. You can click on any one of this and check what are the different models are available. You can see on the right side it shows you all the models. There are so many models depending on the specific use case. Now just let me take a example of text generation or a text classification. Yeah, it's here, text generation, and you can see on the right side you have so many models. Meta's llama model, then you have Meta's llama, then you have Nvidia's using a llama again, Google's gamma model, and so on. You have so many models, so you can just explore, look at the models, try to filter out with the different categories, multi-model or computer vision and so on. Try to explore them. So this was about the open source model and the closed source model with an specific use cases, with a specific use cases. That's all for today's video. So in the next one, we will look at how we can query these large language models in Databricks. That will be really interesting. I request you to please stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon to get notified when the new video drops. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep learning and upskilling. See you.